Yes, we are recording. Okay, well, I'm back again after a few days letting this floor dry. This is the first coat of polyurethane on it. And as you can see, I am walking on the floors. And I think they look really good. I should put a second coat on the floors. But I'm not going to do it now because there's not enough heat in this house for it to dry fast enough. And I need to be in here and do a few more little adjustments and repairs to get this get this house ready. But you can walk on it and the floors are presentable. Here's the bedroom. It's nice and shiny. You can put your socks on and slide around if you want. Now, I will admit the first coat polyurethane looks good, but the second coat might help hide some rough areas. But there is some roughness to this polyurethane. It didn't make bubbles, it's just the wood seemed to breathe and it made it be rough in certain spots. So let's say some people say you should sand 220 grit sandpaper. I'm a perfectionist, but I'm not going to do it. In this case, I've learned to let some things go in my life, not to just be not to be a perfectionist on every little detail. I mean, you can't see the imperfection, so I'm gonna let it go. I may put a second coat on it though, just for durability, but not to try to hide anything, because I think the floors are great like they are. So I'm just showing you the hallway here, and let's see the bedrooms. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to get things perfect. It just takes more time and maybe a little more money. So it's up to you as the homeowner to make that decision. Another coat though would make it stronger, which that I will do another day. But yeah, I'm walking on the floors here and they shining like glass. I didn't think these floors can look this good. I'm really proud of myself. Well, what happened was water froze during our what they call it, Arctic vortex that came in and damaged some of my pipe work. And when it unthawed, the toilet began to overflow because ice had somehow ruined the flushing mechanism in there. So now I tried to leave it well enough alone, and I fixed that problem, but then it started to leak at the bolts down there. I changed the bolts and it's still leaking. Then I found out the reason it's leaking is because the toilet can't sit straight. It's a little lopsided. So now I'm going to take it off this base. Check out the floor underneath. The subfloor is out wet and rotted. And I need to fix that up. So this is the before pic. And I'll show you the stages as I go along. But I then got the water out the toilet, and I took the seal off the floor. I put a silicone seal around it, so I just ripped that out. Had to cut my bolts. They were rusted and they were spinning. The toilet bolts, they were spinning down low, so I cut them off because they were rusted. And now I gotta check out that toilet flange, because I think it's damaged, so I might have to replace that. And then when I replace that, if that's necessary, and I level up that floor, replacing any floorboards that need to be done, then this toilet should sit flush and level, and then the tank can sit on it flush, as the tank was crooked. And that's the reason why I can't get those bolts to be watertight. Don't ask me how they were watertight before. Things happen, things change, the house settles, the floor sinks. Okay, so yeah, as I suspected, the floor is rotted. I'm gonna replace that. Maybe the subfloor won't be so bad, hopefully. And this old wax ring, yeah, that's gotta go. I think you can move it just like this. No, it's in there pretty tight, but the toilet was rocking back and forth, and that's something that was bad. And that flange looks to be rusted pretty good. Oh man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to change this without cutting out that whole pipe. I'll see. Okay, so what's happening here is that this is where the toilet's going to sit. It's a toilet flange. You call it the cast iron flange is okay. I patched in my subfloor. And what I'm doing now is knocking out a piece of wall here, wall board, because the reason this toilet never set right in the first place is because, I don't know, over the years, don't ask me why, they have a 1/2 inch drywall on the stud for the wall board, and then later on, sometime they decide they want to double up on it, and a 1/2 inch becomes an inch, and then an inch becomes an inch and a half, and it just gets about almost 2 inches thick, 2 inches thick of wall here, and that every little bit adds up. That pushes this out, this wall out, and that makes this toilet push out, and then the tank is tilted forward, trying to make it sit here on this flange, and the flange is lifted forward, and then when that happens, you lose your seal, and then all that toilet water flushes through and a little bit starts to seep out, and that's what's rotted this wood down here. And who knows how many years this has been going on, but it probably wasn't much water to be noticed, but it was enough water to keep that wood damp and soggy, and that's the reason why I had to take this up and redo this and open up this, because now I'm going to put a proper 1/2 inch right here in this little spot here. I'm just doing a little patchwork. I don't want to take out the whole wall, but one rule I learned: when you're remodeling a house, you probably just need to go and tear out everything and start all over, do a complete gut. But I'm running short for time, and I run my, what is it called, my cost budget, my budget costs. I'm on a budget here. It's running low, so I gotta improvise. So I'm gonna put a patch in here. And that's enough for this tank can fit properly all the way back, and then this toilet can sit on this flange level, and you'll see it when it's done. But yeah, here's the main stack pipe, a vent pipe, and I redid my water lines because they had this all crazy. I'll show you a before picture how that was. This is all messed up, so I redid this and make it where it's coming out the wall. It had it going up and over. It was too damn high for one thing. So, oh man, always when you start a project, be prepared to make it be a bigger project, because there's a lot of times you got to redo stuff. And in the future, either I'll work from this end or I'll work from that closet back there, and I had to take that valve, that shutoff valve out and replace that. But I'll do that later. I'm getting this done now. So what has taken place is that I finally got the floor leveled and looking nice, and put the tiles back on there. They're just peel and stick tiles, but they look like marble. The toilet flange is stuffed with some rag to keep debris out of it. But like I said, the flange is good. I'll put the toilet in next, but I'm going to show you this here. What happened here, I cut out a little spot here for the toilet tank, because like I said, it's like 2 inches of wall board protruding out, kicking out this toilet 2 inches and making it off center. It's a 12 inch offset for these toilets from the wall, and when they originally do that, they start from the stud and they measure out. Then they add in a 1/2 inch for the drywall. Well, maybe they don't add in a 1/2 inch of drywall. It depends what the plumber's doing. But when that's done and everything's fine, later on someone comes in like, I want to thicken up my walls. I want to add more drywall on there. Now the toilet is pushed out too far and it don't sit right on this flange, and that seepage caused that floor to rot. So what's going to happen now is that I'm going to put a new toilet in, not the new toilet but the toilet in, after I make sure the bolts are nice and tight.